Chatbots are software applications that are designed to simulate human conversation through text or voice interactions. We've come in contact with chatbots at different areas of our life. There's the chatbot that you get with WhatsApp business users, people who use WhatsApp business, where once you message them, you can get a message that, welcome to so business. We are currently not available right now, but drop a message with us and we'll get back to you, or something like, this is what we do, this is what we do, this is what we do, and a bunch of other stuff. The person is not online. The person who sent the message is not a human. It's just an automated system that has responded to you to get to know what you want and maybe ask you to drop a message. You also have the one that you get with Siri. Siri is something that we use commonly, where you could say, "Hey Siri, check this for me," or what is my date of birth, or any kind of question you want to ask it. Siri is an AI assistant. Google Assistant is an AI assistant, but they are more advanced versions of what we are going to be working on this evening. Now, they are used across different industries. By the way, you can either communicate with them through text or through voice, just like Siri or ChatGPT. Commenting on ChatGPT, you can communicate with your voice too. Now, you can use them across various industries. They are used in customer service. They are used in healthcare to communicate to patients. They are used in e-commerce to take orders and a bunch of other stuff. Now, this chatbot, they provide instant responses. They handle multiple inquiries at the same time, and they improve user engagement. The issue with having humans as for customer service is that humans cannot be awake 24/7. They will need to sleep, they will need to rest, they will need to be offline for a particular period of time. But chatbots are never offline, except maybe this whatever server you're using crash. But as long as you build a chatbot for it, there was always going to be a response to any information that the user wants. Aside from these ones I have mentioned, does anybody have any other experience with chatbots? Yes, there are Telegram bots too. A Telegram bot. Thank you for adding. A Telegram bots too. So, what are the importance of chatbots? Now, chatbots, they play a very, very important role in modern business. The good thing is we are moving into a very, very digital age. It gets more digital by every passing year. There was a period of time where if you wanted to go to buy stuff, you have to go to the market. But now you can order for stuff and they get delivered to you in your own house. Now, chatbots are a tool that allow you to enhance customer service because they provide quick answers to common questions. They are always available. It improves customer satisfaction. So because of that, you can have a chatbot that will answer customer queries. If maybe you have a product and they want to find out information about that product, you can figure out questions that these users are going to ask, program the chatbot to answer these questions. And then it makes the life of the customer and your own life easier, because in this case, you will not need to always be online to respond to their questions. Your chatbot can always respond to their questions and provide the needed response that they need. Driving efficiency. Now, automating these responses, it frees up human agents for more complex tasks. So, being for the fact that you have a chatbot that is handling people's responses or responding to their queries, it allows you to use your human labor for other more important things. So, more important and more technical stuff. 24/7 support. I mentioned it before that chatbots are available 24/7. So your customers can get help anytime from any location. Now, Google Dialogflow. I learned about Google Dialogflow about 5 years ago. I was trying to build a kind of bot that would respond to my messages for me and be like a AI version of myself. And I was trying to think of what would be the best tool to get that done. I tried to use code. It was it was depressing. It was depressing because it did not go according to plan. But then I found out about Google Dialogflow. And Google Dialogflow is a powerful platform. This is not the only platform for doing this. There are other ones that are provided by Microsoft. There are ones that are provided by IBM and a bunch of other tools that you can use. But the reason why we're using Google Dialogflow is because I am biased with it. Because it has worked so well for me, it is easier to recommend it over other options out there. It's user-friendly. It is easy to understand for both technical and non-technical users. And I am very, very sure that among all of us on this call, we have the persons who are technical persons, we have persons who are non-technical persons, people who have never seen a line of code in their life. They will also be on this call too. But still, whether you are a techie, a tech guru, or not a tech guru, you should be able to just slide right in. Now, Dialogflow allows you to integrate seamlessly with various messaging platforms like Messenger, Facebook, Slack, Telegram, and on some very, 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 very good days, WhatsApp too. So you can use the chatbot you built on different messaging platforms. So if you have a store on Facebook and you want your people to be able to order from you, you can connect it to Facebook, connect it to Messenger, and get DMs, get people who would make orders through you. And all these orders are taken by the bot, and then you can later process these orders for the users. What are the key features of Dialogflow? There are three things you need to remember when using Dialogflow. The good thing is you're not going to write any code. So it becomes less scary, less terrifying, and more easy for you to give it a try. But the only things you need to understand are what intents are, what entities are, and what fulfillment is. Intent, entities, and fulfillment. If you forget every other thing, if you even forget the name of the software you're going to be using, don't forget these three things, because if you understand what these three things are, it makes your entire bot creating journey a lot easier. Intent, entities, and fulfillment. I'll repeat, intent, entities, and fulfillment. Now, what are intents? Intent represent the purpose of a user's input, helping the chatbot understand what the user wants. What I'm trying to say here is this intent is a combination of what a user is saying and what the chatbot understands by what the user is saying. So a user might come, an intent can be two things. It can be the question that the user asks, which is, how are you? Then the bot has to understand that this person is asking for his current condition and provide an answer that is suitable for it, which will be fine, or I'm good, or I don't have feelings, I'm a bot, which is something that a bot really say in this kind of situation. But still, you just have to understand that the intent is a kind of like structure of how the user gives you an input or gives the bot an input and how the bot understands what the user wants. So if you are inside intent, you're having both the question and the answer. The question and the answer make up the intent. Is that strange? Does that sound wrong? Does that sound weird? Does that sound hard? If it does, if you need more clarification, let me know. But it will be so much easier when we test it out. Talked about intent now. Now, entities. What are entities? Entities are used to extract specific data from user input, such as dates, names, and locations. So in a situation whereby the bot, maybe you're having a conversation with the bot, and the bot says, can you tell me your name? And you said, my name is Constance. The entities allow you to collect the name of the user from the response of the user. So you now collect only the constant part of that response and save it for later use. You can collect stuff like names, you can collect stuff like dates, like locations, like items, like food, like numbers, like account details. As long as it's data that you want to collect from what an input that the user has given to you, you can get it from here. We're using entities. Like I said, intent has to do with the user's input and the bot being able to respond to what the user wants. Entities are used to get specific data from the input or the response that the user has given. Now, we're going to talk about fulfillment. What does fulfillment do? Fulfillment allows the bot to respond dynamically and is often used by connecting to external APIs for real-time data. Now, if you want to put this in the most basic way possible, your bot is like a regular human being. Sorry, I'm going to use a fictional explanation for this, but Your bot is like a regular human being. But then one day, that human being gets struck by lightning and it becomes the Flash and it is able to run very, very fast. For bots to be able to run very, very fast or become super powered, it needs extra features. It needs access to more data. You giving it that more data is you striking it with lightning and giving it superpowers. Because then it will be able to do more stuff, be able to like pass the current boundaries that you set for it. You can connect it to an API that will give it data, and with that data, it makes it smarter, it makes it able to respond more in the way you want it to respond to. You can connect it to your product database. Maybe you're somebody that has a booker or a restaurant, and you have a database where you list, or you have an online store where you list, or you have food items that people can order, like ogbono, rice and beans, or some things. Yam and egg and other stuff like that. But in this case, all you have to do is just connect this bot to that data using an API, and it already knows that, so this particular database or this particular brand has this particular food. So if a user comes and say, I would like to order for yam and egg, it will check the database to see if there's yam and egg. If there's no yam and egg, you tell the user that there's no yam and egg, but there's rice and beans. And the user can decide to say, I'm not really a fan of rice and beans, so but my brother likes rice and beans. And let me order rice and beans for him. And then can try to make order for it. To check database if it's still there, and then complete the order for the user. This is only possible when you are connecting it to a real-time data that it can use to process more information or give more better responses. We've talked about intent, talked about entities, we've talked about fulfillment. From any of these three things, does this sound like Spanish? Does it sound like German? Does this feel like I'm speaking Greek or any other crazy language? Am I sounding like a crazy person at this point? If you have any questions, ask now or forever hold your silence. I don't mean that shall was still. Okay, I'll take it that there are no questions. Good. So, building your first chatbot in Dialogflow. We're going to build chatbot today. Now, what we're going to build is nothing fancy. It's nothing incredible. It's not a big deal. It's just a very, very simple appointment scheduler. Do we know what an appointment scheduler is? My boss at work has a PA. And whenever somebody wants to set up a meeting with him, he tells his PA, set up an appointment for me with this person. Or it tells the person to reach out to his PA to set up an appointment. And the person goes to meet the PA and says, I would like to set up an appointment with your boss. He finds out the time, the date, the name of the person, and a bunch of other stuff, and finds one time will be convenient for the boss, and then set up an appointment for the client that will need to speak with my boss. Now, in this case, we're removing the human part of that whole process and replacing it with a bot that will take care of all of that, that will sort out the appointments and all of that. So that's what we're going to work on today, an appointment scheduler. So with that, my boss does not need a human to go and start talking to clients and collecting the data and collecting all those information. Automatically, that will be done by the bot. Now, how do we get into building this chatbot with Dialogflow? First, we create a Dialogflow account. It is free of charge. You can sign up for a free account on the Dialogflow website. Two, you create a new agent. An agent is your chatbot. You give it a name and you set the default language. Then we will define our intent. We define our intent. Remember, I said an intent is a sum up of the questions or the input the user is given and how the bot understands it and gives the valid response. I think you got it from the word intention. Use case, before we get into it, use cases for Dialogflow chatbot. They have diverse applications for e-commerce, for healthcare, for traveling. You can use it to offer travel recommendations and help with bookings. You can provide appointment scheduling and patient information for healthcare. You can assist customers with product inquiries and order tracking. So yeah, these are some very, very good applications. There are a load of other applications that you can use for it, a lot of other situations where it can be useful. You just need to think of how it would be best for your business, your brand, or somebody that you know, so that you can use it to offer a service to them. Now, hands-on activity. We're about to get into the serious part. So the first thing we said we're going to do is to sign up on Dialogflow. The URL for Dialogflow is dialogflow.cloud.google.com. If you are on this call with your phone, you can access it on your laptop if you have your laptop close by. Dialogflow.cloud.google.com. Once you get there, you are going to see this view. You're going to see this view, currently what we have on the screen. They will show you the terms of service. You have to, only matter of clicking yes, I have read and accepted the agreement. After we've done that, if you don't have a Google account, you will need a Google account for it. Most of the time, if you're a first-time user, they will ask you to create a Google account if you don't have. A Google account is your email, by the way, your Gmail email, by the way. You accept your terms and conditions, then you'll be in the console, which is what we are in now. So if I mention Dialogflow console, the entire place where you build your chatbot is called a console. Google likes console names like that. Now, for us to create a chatbot agent, we have to click on this button here. We have two buttons here. We have one by the left that says create agent with a very, very noticeable plus sign. We have another one here that's blue and says create agent. So you can use any of them to create your agent. When you do that, you have to name your agent. We're going to call this agent appointment scheduler. So appointment scheduler, default language being English. Default time zone is GMT plus one, but I'm not in Europe. Oh. I wish I was in Europe, sure, but yeah. Okay, I'm not going to turn this on. I just need one very, very simple. Now, this set as mega agent is if you want to have multiple chatbots into under one chatbot. That one is advanced stuff, like really, really advanced stuff. If you want to learn how to do that, we'll talk about that after this class. Then click on the create button after you've chosen your name. Okay, so we have been able to create our agent called appointment scheduler. Now, what as it stands now, this bot as it is, it has one feature that it can do without us even doing anything. What it does, it greets users. So let's first test the default. Now we have a default intent here and a default welcome intent. Now, the default welcome intent, it greets the users. The default fallback intent, what it does is catches all the questions that the bot cannot understand. For example, I say, hi, it will use the default welcome intent and say something like a greeting back. But say in a situation where I need to go and say something that the bot did not understand, like I buy Gary 10 kobo, and the bot has nothing to do with Gary that I buy for 10 kobo, it will give this default fallback intent. But let's test it. So on the left, or sorry, the right hand side, yeah, you see this part that they will try it now. This is a place that allows you to test out your chatbot. I come here and say, hi, sorry, hi, and I click enter. The response he gave to me was, good day. What can I do for you today? So polite. More polite than most customer service people that we know. That is the default welcome intent. Now, let us try something else and say something that the bot will not understand. Hold. Baba say, what was that? He did not understand it. He did not know what is Odumodu black. So we've seen two kind of responses. We've seen one where it welcomes you because you greet it. Say this user have respect, so let me greet him back. We see the other one where you're telling him something that he does not understand or not in the scope of his knowledge base, and so he ask you, what was that? Let's see this intent in detail. If we click on the default welcome intent, now the intent has been trained with there's something called training phrases. Now, these training phrases, they are things that the bot will look out for. Once the user says something related to any of these things that are here, it will know that you are greeting it. If you say, just going to say hi, or hey, yeah, or hello, hi, or howdy, or hey there, or hi there, or greetings, or hey, or long time no see, or hello, it knows that you're trying to greet it. Anyways, all these phrases are used to train the bot. So the bot knows that, okay, these phrases that are here allow the person, if somebody says any of these things, it knows that the person is greeting them. So you can try to add one and add something like, I should not be doing this, but how far? I should add it, that adds to the list. So when you give any of this stuff or if anything seemingly related to them, it knows that you're trying to greet it and it responds accordingly. So this add user expression box is where you use to add any extra phrases that you want to use. For other intents that you create, you will definitely need to add training phrases. The next thing we need to do is create a custom intent. We need to create a custom intent. Now, this intent, we're going to call it scheduled appointment. To create that, we'll come here under the intent. Keep in mind that here in this left bar here, we have intent, we have entities, we have fulfillment. Intent, entities, and fulfillment. Those three important things for us. If we come here and click on this plus icon, oh, sorry, let me save this one first. Then I come here, click on it. It takes me to where I will create a new intent. I would like to call this schedule appointment. Let me give space for this one. Okay, schedule appointment. Now, after we do that, we'll save it. Then the next thing we have to do is to start adding training phrases. Train the intent with what the users will say. Provide examples of how users will express their intent in natural language. Adding numerous phrases with different variations and parameters will improve the accuracy of intent matching. So we have to add training phrases. So what kind of training phrases can we add? Set an appointment. Oh, on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Now, automatically, as you added this set an appointment on Wednesday by 2 p.m., Dialogflow already figures out that, okay, there are some entities in this phrase that you put. Keep in mind that we said entities are specific data that you would like to retrieve with your bots, or is what you use to retrieve those data from what your user says. Now, it knows that what you put here is a date and time value. So if you put Wednesday at 2 p.m., it records it as a date and time, and it record it and save it as a value. So in case you want to do any action later on, you can use this particular value to do it. And it also recognize that when the user says anything or put any date, it should be expecting a date from the user. If it does not expect a date, it will know what to do after that. Now let's add some more ones to it. Let's add, I would like to set an appointment for 3 p.m. on Tuesday. Automatically, it does the same thing for this one too. Let's add need an appointment for 4 p.m. tomorrow. It figures out that okay, 4 p.m. tomorrow is something from there. Now keep in mind that we use different kind of like phrases here. We use 4 p.m. tomorrow here. We use 3 p.m. on Tuesday here. We use Wednesday at 2 p.m. here. But you recognize that all these are dates and times. They are dates and times. So on its own, Dialogflow is smart enough to figure these things out. But the more phrases you give it, the more smarter it will become. Now, you don't have to go and fill this thing with every day, like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., or go and fill it with every day of the week, Monday, Tuesday from Monday to Friday or whatever. You just need to set like a very, very few set that it will use to figure out what it needs to do. Now, in a situation whereby you want to you want to modify this date time entity to something, maybe you want to break it separately into date and into time. This is what you will do. You go to action and parameters. Click on manage parameters and action. Then you add a new parameter and you call this parameter date. Then we use this at, then you search for time, sys dot time. Sorry, date, sorry, supposed to be date. Yes, sys dot date. Then for time, sys dot time. So for this, we can put 2 p.m. For this, we can put Wednesday. Let's save this. Okay. Then after we've added this, we separated date, we separated time. The next thing we need to do is add our default responses. Responses that it should respond, or you should say after the person has given an appointment. We can say something like you uh, uh, sorry, English, see you then. Then another one, you are all set. for date at you then. Hmm? Okay. Okay. So these are the responses. These are the responses that we are getting. Now we have to test this related the created intent using the chatbots. So we can come here and say, let me save this first. So I can come and say, set an appointment for 4 p.m. on Thursday. Do I have 4 p.m. on Thursday here? Nope. When which one is Wednesday at 2 p.m.? Let me relax. So that's not the response I said you give me. Oh. So what I'm doing now is specifying that it's giving it examples of date and time. Date. Okay. That was the mistake I made before. So I'm supposed to set it out so that it knows that, okay, this is the time, this is the date. So if I save this, and I come back here and I say, set an appointment for 4 p.m. on Thursday. We are all set for EML. Thursday is really 30th. 30th of January 2025 at 16:00. See you then. Wasabi. Who asked you to convert it to system? Anyways, it has given us our response. So we see that it's working. So if we can come and say, try something else and say, I want to set an appointment for Monday at 12 a.m. Someone does it. We said you're all set. See you then. But if you check the action, the parameter that was taken here, it shows you that the time that was here is 27th of January 2025. 27th is what? Is on Monday. Today is 26th. So tomorrow is 27th. Okay. Okay. So we're on track. We're on the right path. We are on the right path. Now, let's consider a scenario where somebody enters a phrase saying, set an appointment but the person did not put date, did not put time. Because we have not handled that kind of situation, the default fallback intent will come into play here. Let me show you an example. Set an appointment. You see? Mm. Listen, Momo. Anyways, in a situation whereby you want it to give a valuable response or ask for a time and other information, we have to create we have to ask the user for a date and time. Now we need to do something called slot filling. Slot filling is allows you to design a conversation flow for collecting specific data inside one intent, which is this intent that we're using. It is useful when the user's action cannot be completed without some set of data being given to the bot. Now, for us to do that, we have to go to actions and parameters. Okay, for this, okay, let me explain what I'm doing. So for us to be able to do it, what we're trying to do now is we want a situation whereby if we don't put the date and the time, we want the bot to be able to ask us for the date and the time. We want the bot to ask for the date and the time. Now for us to do that, here where we have action and parameters, we'll click this particular checkbox here, and it will give us a section called prompt. Prompt is the bot asking for more information, or bot asking the user for more information. So we now have to define what the prompt will be. In this case, the prompt will be what date. Then the one for time will be what time. Okay. Now let's try this. Hallelujah, somebody. What date? Tomorrow. What time? 1 p.m. Yo, good. You're all set for blah 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 at 1 p.m. See you then. Hooray. So our chatbot now will now prompt us for date and time if any of those are missing. Now, Dialogflow, this is a very, very simple appointment scheduler. You can use this when you want to schedule an appointment. You just send anybody the link, the person comes to the bot and does all of that. You can do a lot more than this. This is just something very, very simple. This is a tiny fragment in a notion of things that you can do. This is just to show you how it works and how simple it is to get it done. There is a lot more that you need to do. You have to put in all the action and parameters that you will need, all the responses, all the training phrases. It's not code, but you still have to put in the training phrases. You just have to write a lot. The only thing that seems a little bit technical is the entity. And for the entity, you have to understand that you have to put this @ symbol before the entity, and the entity name always starts as sys dot the value. It can be sys dot time, it can be sys dot date, sys dot flight number dot unit length. It has given you a list of different types that you can use: music genre, country geo, URL, currency, duration, color, currency name, unit P, street address. So you can collect as much data as you want to collect. Temperature, given name, location, phone number, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot that you can do with it. The only thing you have to remember is there's always at sys dot before it. Just search for what you want and it will give it to you. Another thing you need to know is that if you want to add a prompt, you have to check this box first. Once you check this box, it means that this particular types or parameters, they are required, they are necessary. And once you add it, you can add a prompt, and then whenever this particular field is missing, it will request for it. Chicken now. As simple as biology. From what I've done, is there anything that you feel that if you were going to do it yourself, you have an issue with or you will not understand? Let me know so that we can sort that out before we round up. You all have my ears now.
I think I have an issue with the prompt. Although that was my fault, I was not really paying attention when you were trying to put in the prompt. So I don't know if you can go back again, go over it again with that aspect.
Okay, what part? Yeah, what part? The prompt that we're having issue with?
Yes, that prompt, yeah.
Okay, let me go back. So once you selected this required field here, it will automatically know that this field has to be given, or else it will not give you the required input. So if you want to get the prompt, you click on this place here. It will give you a section where you can add prompts. So in this case, I only added one prompt, which is what date. Once you add that one prompt, just close it. Then you can add for the other one. Once you add it, close it. And once you do that and save it, ensure that you save it. If you don't save it, it will not work. So save it and then you try it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yes.
I'm listening.
So what if you need to add more parameters, like besides date and time?
Okay.
You keep clicking on new parameters.
Exactly. You click even on new parameters. It keep on adding
Okay.
more parameters for you.
Adding more. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
no problem. Any other questions? If there are no questions, I would like to know.
Sorry, when you clicked the far right, when you clicked that try it now or agent,
Yeah,
and you typed something there, what did you right click to say to, or did you
just press
click your
just press
you
enter.
press enter on your keyboard?
Yes, and it will take off from there.
Okay. All right.
Does anybody have any questions? Also, okay, I think there's a question. Now, that is where fulfillment comes into play. And fulfillment will allow you to do two things. Fulfillment will allow you to either connect it to a database where you can get more information for it, or get the data that is being there. Alternatively, I think there's somewhere else here where you can get that from. Let me confirm. Okay. So if you go to history, you can get all your conversations and stuff like that. Everything from that, all the conversations that the bot has had, you can get it from here, and then you can use it to do whatever information that you want to do. But aside from that, if you want to get the data directly, maybe like store it into a database, you have to use fulfillment for that, which is another class for another day.